All right guys, Brad the Builder here. Today I want to share with you some things being a home builder for the past 35 years or just being in business period. A lot of you can relate to what I'm going to talk about. It's kind of dealing with difficult customers. There are some crazy ones out there, and when you deal with the crazy ones, they make you think you're crazy. I'm going to share with you the ones that have come to my mind because I've had a lot of them in my career, but I tend to forget those. I have a short-term memory, which is, I think, very beneficial because if you dwell on this stuff too long, you'll go crazy. So I want to share with you today just some of the few that come to my mind on some crazy things, and I hope you can relate to it, and I hope this will be entertaining. So let's get started. All right, these stories, it's so important that I change the names, not only to protect the innocent, but most importantly, to protect me. I don't want these people coming back after me. So I'm not embellishing these stories. I'm saying it as close to the truth as what I can remember, just like in a court of law. Best to my knowledge, that's the word you want to use when you're talking to a judge. To the best of my knowledge, this is how I remember it. There were a lot, but these are the ones that come to my memory. Okay, right off the bat, there's one, I think it just comes down to people not really being educated and not understanding the construction business. So this one, we got the house all done, the yard's ends all sodded, and this lady wanted to find out where she wanted to put her mailbox. So I got out my paint gun, which is on a long stick, and put a paint can in it. You pull the trigger and it sprays paint out. So I'm spray painting a big square, and she got her hands up in the air screaming, what are you doing painting my grass? I go, that's what we do. She goes, you now owe me all new grass. You can't paint my grass. I want a whole new yard. I'm like, lady, all you got to do is mow the grass and the paint is gone. And she looked at me with deer in the headlights like, what are you talking about? First of all, they just move in and they're all freaked out and they're all stressed out. So you have to deal with that. There's a lot of emotions. They're saying the worst thing people want to do is give a speech in public and then move. So a lot of times I'm dealing with both of that. So as they get in their houses, they're all stressed out. Their life's upside down. So they're like a little loaded gun. Typically those triggers, the closer you get to move-in time, sometimes the crazier it gets. But then there's the people, what I call YouTube smart. We're all watching YouTube and you always do how to, but they always come to me and say, Brad, we don't know anything about building homes. We heard a lot of great things about you, blah, blah, blah. I want them to trust me. I know what trust is earned, but when you're working, hopefully my reputation, they should trust me that I have done this over and over again. I'm not a new kid on the block. So I get in these homes and they'll show up on the job site, and these are highly successful people. And they'll show up at the job site saying, you're not installing those windows right. What are you talking? Have you done it before? Well, no, but I saw on YouTube that you're supposed to do this, this, and this. And then they come back a week or two later going, you're not installing those shingles on the roof right. You're not putting in the insulation right. You're not doing. So obviously there's a lot of different ways to do things, but just because I call them YouTube smart doesn't mean it's correct. But what happens, those clients that are super YouTube smart do not have the ability to let go and trust the people that they've hired, me, to build their house. Now that's rarely does that happen, but when it does, oh my God, it feels like the weight of the world is on you. And then you start questioning I don't think I know what the heck I'm doing. How did I get to this in over 30 years? And now I got some person that doesn't know anything about construction is telling me I don't know anything about it. It drives you so crazy, you start questioning yourself like, maybe I should go do something else. So typically those people that show up on the jobs like that are always watching over and over again, I try to tell them, you don't want me going to work with you looking over your shoulder, or even worse, you don't want your boss looking over your shoulder on everything you do. You can't get your job done. So you got to let these subcontractors do their work and then come to the job site. Stay out of their workplace when you're building your house. But they always think, well, this is my house. I'm paying the bills. I can kind of come and go whenever I want. But you're also in these guys' place of work. And when you show up and the subs are there, they don't like it. And I'll give you a perfect example. There was another situation where the client kept showing up on the job site to a point where they're saying, I want to be there when the stone comes to be delivered for my house. I want to go through every single stone and pick out these gray ones because I don't like them and get rid of them. And then I want to make sure those don't get put on my house. Oh my God, you've got truckloads of this stuff coming in. So sometimes you just tell the subcontractor you don't want those on it, but she said, no, I want to be there with them and watch them pick them out. You think that guy's going to like that? Come Monday morning, he's got to sit with some lady and pick out stone when they like to have their radios going and talking, whatever they need to do. Now they have the customer over their shoulder. So that makes for not a good workplace. And then when that continues on, there's more and more of those same stories. So what happened on that same client, when she would show up at the job site as time went on, one time I came to the job site and I saw her car out there, and I went in the house. I couldn't find her because I guess when I was coming in, she was going out. And then all of a sudden a couple subs started coming out of the pantry way in the back of the house. 3 great big guys. I go, what are you guys doing in there? I go, is she gone? She gone? Yeah, why? Because, oh my God, when she shows up, we don't want to deal with her because she's always questioning what we do, always on our case. So we just had no place to go, so we all hid in that pantry. Here's 3 great big grown guys hiding in the pantry so they have to deal with the homeowner. I found that. I thought that is very fitting. These are some people you can't tell them they are annoying the subs. You try to, but then they get all freaked out and think that we're trying to hide something from them when that's nothing could be farther from the truth. Another example of people on the job site, that's really a big one for me because I say it's not safe. You got to stay out of there. Another client, it's not so much being on the job site, but we need them to make selections, and it's got to be done in a timely manner. I can't tell you how many times we tell people you got to stay ahead of the selections, because when you make a selection, then we got to make sure that it's in stock because we need it delivered to the job site. So I give them plenty of notice ahead of time, kind of like, hey, we're in the green zone, let's go, make your selections. Now if they don't do it, now we're in the yellow zone, because now it's starting to be cautious that if you make the selection, there's a chance that it may not be available, which could stop the job. We want to keep these jobs moving. And so a lot of these clients don't understand that. Most of them do, because they want to be proactive, working on their house, and that's the ones we like. But there's a few that slip through the cracks, that get in there and they start slowing the process down. Like they want to think about it. They want someone to hold something up so they can look at it here, which is fine. After a while, and you're holding up panels to kind of give a sense where a window is, and we're doing that for 2 or 3 days, these guys are not getting their work done. And one situation is that they could not make a decision on paint. So we get paint samples. Usually it's in a color family. I mean, there's only so many colors of a green, if you will, and then the grays and all that. So we end up putting 50 paint samples. That's right, 50 paint samples on the house, which means you got to buy a little tiny bucket of paint, which are probably around $10. Dip it in there, paint a couple of swats on it, write the number, keep going down the line, and then they want to see it with the stone. But when you do 50 of them, after a while, my God, my head starts spinning, the painter's head spinning, nobody knows what the heck is what's to be decided, and they get all wore out, and then guess what? They go start another job because the lady can't make a decision. As soon as she makes a decision, now she wants them back right now to start painting the house. I tell them right now, hey, they went and took on another job the same size as your house. They're gone for 2 months, maybe 3. It's important that you make your selections on time. And to that same story, guess what paint sample she selected when we went through all 50? The very first one. She came back and said, oh, the first one's the one I want. Oh, okay. So that's, again, what drives a person crazy. I could go on, but I'd like to have visuals, but that would be a little crazy. One client I would say is one of the craziest ones is I have to clean up the job sites and work and manage them. I mean, when you get 2x4s and lumber, anytime somebody puts a nail in a board, cuts a little corner off, dents it, the lumber yard will not take it back. I've shown you guys when I went to the lumber yard, tried to take back plywood, and there's a little corner missing. They go, nope, off the truck it goes. They'll take it, but will give me no credit for it. So there's a lot of stuff on these job sites that is too big in my mind to go in the dumpster. I think anything over 3 foot long, especially with lumber prices they are today, if it's 3 or 4 foot long, I started taking that stuff out of the dumpster, and so I keep the stuff. And it may work on that job, or it might work on another job. Tell me if I was right or wrong on this one. So I'm cleaning up the job site and rearranging lumber that can be returned. There's siding that can be returned that's laying around, 2x4s, and then there's stuff that has been cut, nails in it, and I put that in another pile. And instead of throwing it in the dumpster, I put it in my truck because I'm going to take it out of there. Otherwise, somebody's going to put it in the dumpster, And one, we're spending money filling our dumps up with good lumber. And number two, that stuff could be used someplace else. No different than the house I'm working on. I could have brought over some small 2x4s and things for blocking, what have you, from another job. So we just kind of move them around. So the homeowner, I guess there's a neighbor lady, Mrs. Kravitz. If you guys are old enough, you'll know what that means. There's a neighbor lady that's always looking out the window, kind of the tattletale of the neighborhood of what's going on. Supposedly she calls this guy and says, "Hey, I saw your builder loading up his pickup truck full of your lumber." Well, probably is true, but I wasn't taking perfect lumber. I was taking trash, if you will. So this guy calls up, madder than hell, says I'm stealing from him. I said, "Listen, I am not stealing. I've never stolen from anybody in my entire life. I'm cleaning up your job site. We can keep it organized, looking nice. There are lumber that is going back. You can go to your house and see it. And the other stuff I took." He goes, "Well, if you took it, obviously you think there's value in it and you owe me money. So let me know if you think that's true, if I owe him money." So what I did, he said, "I'm calling the cops on you." I go, "There is nothing. Why would you call the cops on me? I'm in the middle of building your house. I'll bring the stuff back if you want it that bad." So I brought the stuff back, put it in a pile. I videotaped everything just because I didn't trust the guy. And then at the end of the day, I realized if he doesn't trust me with his job doing with the framing and what have you, that this is a beginning of what is to come. So then I decided, you know what? I don't need this crap anymore. I said, I quit. I think out of all my jobs, I think I've quit 2 because the homeowners were so crazy. Sometimes you guys, if you're in the business, you got to make sure you pick out people that you can do business with. And I've had some successful builders say, "Hey, when you're super busy, would you take this crazy client?" You'd say, "No way." But a lot of times you don't know they're crazy. But if you're not busy, then you think, well, I can make this crazy client work. They'll run you right into the ground. So that's why I quit that, moved on, and there's always another job coming up. I hope you guys like this stuff. Kind of negative, but I want to make it kind of fun because it just blows my mind. People can act this way. And it's amazing when you're building homes for people, you really get to see their inner workings, their true personalities. Because I've built with a lot of people I thought I knew, then I got to build their homes and found out what they're really like. Very disappointing. Then there's one lady, I should say lady, it was, but she was meaner than hell. This is in my early days. And I learned some things for a subliminal type message that when you're in a meeting and you want the upper hand, you want to be as tall as possible. And she was coming in and she was way bigger than me. So what I thought I'd do, I got off my chair, I spun her chair like this. You could spin them all the way down. I lowered hers as low as it would go. I went on the other side, raised mine all the way up. So when I was sitting, which I felt was pretty tall, when she came in and sat in that low chair, she still was towering over me. So I was looking up at her thinking, this is not going to work out very well. That's the same lady that would call me at 6 in the morning cussing me out because she thought her eaves weren't at 24 inches and they're only like at 16. I said, I haven't finished. It's not done framing. And this is when I was brand new, just getting started, just had a brand new baby Nate at the time. And you know, with little kids, you don't sleep at all. So I wake up to 6 in the morning of this woman calling me every name in the book. I didn't know she was a sailor, but she could sure talk like one. So with that, I hope you guys enjoy it. Give me some of your comments. Let them know if I'm crazy, if these people are crazy. I don't know, if the world's crazy. Guys, keep watching. Hit that like button. Make sure you buy some Brad the Builder hats. We got a few more. As always, I love you guys watching. Please comment, and I'll see you guys on the next job site. After going through a lot of this stuff, you guys, I learned that if you talk bad about somebody, which you're not supposed to do, but if you end it with bless their heart, it makes it all good. So at a lot of these stories, which I forgot to do, I need to add bless their heart, and then everybody is fine. They can't come back at me and give me hell.